September 12th, 2022, week in review. This previous week, I did a comment-only video. I won't do those all the time, but I did one where I read and went through all the comments on the week in review from September 5th. So I'm not going to dive into all the comments from September 5th, but I will dive into some of the comments to start this week in review off from that week in review comment response. So I'm going to not cover every comment, but I'm going to go through a handful of comments from Saturday's week in review comment edition. Kat Naha said, so many people have so many different beliefs when it comes to nutrition and a way of eating. I have tried so many different ways, but I feel just like your body works your own way. I found I work better with carbs and others might work better with fat. The focus is list on this battle. Eat as clean and whole food as possible and find what works for you. Let's get behind this and stop trying to feed others your way. IDK, thank you for your open and honest content, Dave. Okay, you're welcome for the open and honest content. I'm not trying to get people to eat my way. I'm just trying to educate people on what I'm doing and how it is working for me. My issue with what you're saying is eat as clean and whole food as possible and find what works for you. The clean and the whole food thing, I struggle with that, and I struggle with that because people don't do a very good job of defining clean and whole foods, and people use that as a cop-out to justify excessive quantities and or foods that are not clean or necessarily whole foods as something they will eat. And frankly, as CrossFitters, or if you are a CrossFitter, or if you are chasing something like CrossFit Performance, the one thing that should dictate how you eat and what's working, or the primary thing, not the one thing, but the primary thing, is results. So if you're eating and optimizing your results and you're getting faster, stronger, you're increasing your work capacity across broad time and modal domains, that should be your metric for if the diet's working, not just how your body feels. I mean, that's important, but that's also, it's one piece of it. Fundamentally, though, your nutrition should be or enabling you to perform at a very high level and increasing your performance. And the way I'm eating for these long events, I think it's fueling my performance correctly, and I think I'm performing better than I would if I was eating any other way. Hi, Dave. When people inquire about at-home programs and would like more coaching at home, RPM Training has an amazing video platform called Atom. Workouts are pre-recorded, coach-led class from warm-up progressions, workout, and cool-down. From beginning and novice CrossFitters to experienced CrossFitters, for all, it's like attending a CrossFit class in your garage. From Christy Schwab. Pat Barber, he told me about that, and he sent me a link to check it out. I haven't checked it out yet, but what he said they're doing does sound pretty exciting. And so totally, thank you for commenting. And you guys, if you're looking for an at-home, check that one out and let me know how it is. Have no idea or opinion of Tia, but Lance Armstrong passed every drug test and was juicing the entire time. Someone said they'd like to suggest the SmartWatt app. The app will produce a WOD based on equipment requirements. Someone said they joined street parking after I mentioned them. Cool. Can you give me an example of what you eat on a daily basis, and does that change whether or not you were training that day? Yeah, so it depends on where I'm at. Right now, I'm not eating super clean. I'm just kind of enjoying food after that race and after being strict for a few weeks. I'll get back on the bandwagon soon, but for the most part, generally speaking, lower carb. A ruck program. So a lot of people commented on the ruck program. I'm thinking about it, thinking about how I'd do that. Jason from Canada, who commented last week, I don't agree that past tests means no steroids, but your answer is great. Thanks for responding, Dave. Thank you. Tia has also been tested by other organizations, including the Olympic and international weightlifting bodies. There you go. Another person talking about Lance Armstrong. Mark Fuentes, Dave, why do you read and respond to every comment? Strikes me as the least likely thing for you to do. And maybe that's why I do it, because it is definitely the least likely thing for me to do. And oftentimes, even doing this, even doing these weekly reviews, is something very outside of my comfort zone. And as many of you know, the opportunities for growth and the opportunities for improvement come in those areas where you challenge yourself to do things you wouldn't normally do. So, for years I didn't do podcasts. And I was very vocal about that. I wouldn't do any podcasts. And then finally I did one or two, and I was okay or unhappy with, well, I was happy with my performance, but not ecstatic. So I decided, well, if I want to feel comfortable with doing podcasts, I just need to do more, even though I didn't want to do them. So I started doing them and started doing more of them just because it was something I wasn't super comfortable with. Going through all these comments is definitely not something I'm super comfortable with, but it challenges me and makes me better. And ultimately, it helps me think on my feet and respond quickly to specific questions or specific things I might get hit up in interviews or in discussion with people. Most of the time, I don't come up with an answer for these comments before I pick them. I just read through, pick a couple, put them on a piece of paper, and then answer them as I go through them. Someone said, Kate Foster, you are awesome. Someone said, Sevon says you need your camera, fix my camera angle. Andrew Hiller commented, Dave didn't watch my video about himself not watching my videos with this face. I don't know what any of that means. Then this is kind of funny. John Roner, hey Andy, were you raised by a single mom or absent, uninterested dad? Every time I see a guy trying to stop someone else from making a living, I see a guy whose dad was a weak figure or just absent entirely. Saw you attack hip and still. Was that lashing out at your own parents? Sure looks like it. And then there's a handful of those. That's kind of. Oh, and then Hiller engages a few times on here. Oh, he engages a lot. Okay. Let's see. A lot of comments underneath. So if you want to dive into what people said after Hiller said his piece, there's 30 replies after that. So last week, Sunday, I got back from my Sniper Adventure Challenge, and Monday kind of just got settled. I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. When it was Wednesday, Thursday. Had a leadership meeting in Santa Cruz with some of the HQ team, and Wednesday morning we went and did a workout at CrossFit Aptos. And so I really wasn't recovered from Sniper Adventure Challenge. I didn't pre-read what the workout was, and going into that workout or going into that gym, I had no idea what we were going to do. So we get to the class, and there's a lot of us from CrossFit, and then there's a good number of people there at the gym for just the 6 a.m. class. And it was 5 rounds of the following. It was 60 double unders, run 400, and then 10 thrusters at 95 pounds. You do that in, I think it was a 3 or 4 minute window. And then it was a 4 minute window. You do that in 4 minutes, and your rest time before starting the next round is how long it took you to finish. Since we had such a large class, they actually flip-flopped some of us. Half did the run, the double unders, and the thrusters. The other half did double unders, run, and thrusters. I ended up in a group that did run, double unders, and thrusters. And first few rounds, it was horrible. It was miserable. I haven't done thrusters like that in a very long time. First few rounds, I did the thrusters all unbroken, but as we were running and then coming into the double unders and then into the thrusters, I quickly realized I would have rather done the original version myself for my own, which was double unders into the run into thrusters. I feel like transitioning from a run into the thrusters is easier than transitioning from double unders into the thrusters. On the fourth round, I think it was the fourth round. Yeah, the fourth round, I took off on the run, and my legs started cramping up, and I just for a brief moment, I went about 10 or 15 yards, legs cramped, and then it worked itself out, and then I finished the run. And on that one, because I went slower because of that, I wasn't able to actually finish that round. I only did 2 thrusters in that time and then had to take off. Oh, and I started tripping up on double unders. And then on the 5th round, I was able to get my shit together. I was able to finish the run, the double unders efficiently, and then do the 10 thrusters unbroken. So that was a doozy of a workout after a few days after 48 hours of nonstop action and 40, 50 miles of rucking through the mountains of Wyoming at elevation. So I was really not looking to get back into intensity that quickly, but had no choice. The next morning, went to CrossFit Up, where Kelly Clark led our workout, and that workout was a tough workout. I think they said it was a games workout, which I would make, if it was a games workout, it's the only workout I know from the games then at this point. And it was, so that one, ironically enough, was also run, but I think it was run 100 meters, and then into 20 wall balls, which, here we go, more thruster-like movements, back to back from one gym to the other. And then the next day, and the next movement was 70-pound squat snatch. So warmed up for that. She had a really good warm up. And I think it was 3 rounds on every 6-minute rotation. So first round went fast on the run, but not really fast, because as you've heard, I really don't like sprinting in workouts, especially at 45 or my age. I think it's a recipe for disaster. Then went straight into the wall balls, did 20 pounds at a 10-foot height. I think they required 11, but I went 10. And then the 70-pound dumbbell, there's no way I'm squat snatching that. So actually the first 2 rounds just did a 50-pound power snatch. And then on the final round, I used a 70-pound, but still power snatch. Did the 3 rounds. It was fine. On the 3rd round, we took off on the run. And Gary Gaines, who was next to me, he took off running. And he pulls up and slows down. And as I pass him, I go, "Hey, dude, walk it off. You just pulled your hamstring." Sure as shit, on the sprints, he took off, tried going in front of me. He's much faster than me, so that was no issue. But he strained, pulled, I don't know, didn't tear, but injured his hamstring. Every time I'm with that guy at a workout, he's hurting. He always injures something. One of the first times we worked out together actually he was working out and I was coaching in Boulder at Rose's gym. He ended up tearing one of the tendons in his fingers during hang power snatches. So poor Gary, heal up. He's always injury prone or tweaking something, and he needs to chill out sometimes. So if you're watching, Gary, take it easy and recover. 2 days of that, talking to actually a couple members on the team, Robin and Gary. We're both talking about books, and Robin, friend of mine, IT guy, doesn't read a lot right now of novels or any classics like that. So I bought him Of Mice and Men, and I ended up buying Gary a copy too. Of Mice and Men is always like my go-to to kind of just seed this style of reading to people, because it's a really short book. It's 100 pages, a little over 100 pages, but it's such a great story. And I've said this before on these, not podcasts, but on these discussions. I think some of these books that we read as children, reading them as adults, there's something powerful about them and something there. So there was a bookstore in Santa Cruz, went and bought a couple copies for them both, and hopefully Gary said he read his already. He said he really liked it. Hopefully they both enjoyed them. So that was a good full 2 days of a lot of work. Also, had a call on Friday with an affiliate, a departed affiliate, an affiliate who de-affiliated right after the tweet during the COVID stuff from Japan, and we had a good discussion about some of the reasons why he de-affiliated, and he's still running a gym. And I talked to him about if he ever wants to affiliate again, give us a chance, and see if he sees value in doing it, and jump back on board. He's still processing what he wants to do. He said the name of his city, but I'm drawing a blank. It's not Tokyo, but it's actually basically a neighboring city of Tokyo. And not many affiliates in that area. And Japan in general does not have many affiliates. What he told me as when I had a call with other Japanese affiliates, what they also said, not a lot of people in Japan speak English, so for them to consume a lot of our content or to take it on is pretty tough because there's a big language barrier there. Over the weekend, I ended up unpacking all my gear from the race, from the adventure race, from the shooting competition, and filming a number of videos on that actual event. So when I did Mammoth Sniper Challenge in January, right after getting fired, I filmed 6 or 7 videos of a breakdown of my gear, 6 or 7 video series, or 6 or 7 parts of different videos, 6 or 7 different videos on what I use in the competition, and I posted them to YouTube. The thing is, the 6 or 7 videos, like 1 or 2 I filmed in 1 or 2 days, and then the other 4 or 5, like a month later, I filmed those over the course of 2 or 3 weeks. So it was a really drawn out process. Since I had all the gear out from this race, on Saturday I just prioritized, okay, I'm going to just film them all. So I laid out all the gear, and I did 4 or 5 videos on the gear that I used for this race, and actually on the diet and how I ate and why I did it that way. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last video, but I ate 1,600 calories over the 48-hour race. So 48 hours in the field, covered 40, 50 miles, not sure yet how many, with a 30-pound pack, constant movement, constant effort, constant work, and over 48 hours, I only ate 1,600 calories. So that I would call is a low-calorie prescription for that amount of effort and for that duration. But the experiment there, or the proof of concept for myself, was even on such minimal amount of calories, I was still able to perform at a very high level at a place where I felt very comfortable. And within the last 12 hours of the race, I didn't eat anything. And in that 12-hour period, I was able to, there was multiple sections where I was running and we were hiking fast and we were really pushing ourselves at the end. So being fat adapted, burning fat as my fuel source, not relying on carbohydrates, really paid off for me in that race. And I've seen that now at multiple events and multiple different shooting competitions with physical components to it that I've tested this out. Very pleased with how it works. So that's it for this week in review. Thanks for tuning in. Comment in the comments, and next week I might have my own video addressing the comments, or maybe I'll just answer the comments in the next week in review. Thanks a lot.